Tugs, Run Aground. Written by Fiona Hardwick and based on the television series created by David Mitton and Robert D. Cardona. Read by Ellis Pagan and Chris Dale. The tugboat, for its size, is the most powerful craft afloat. And the Star Tugs are the power behind the docks and waterways that make up the big city port. This is Tugs. Spring had come to the harbour, and with it a lot of stormy weather. On this particular day, I remember overhearing a meeting between Captain Zero and his Z-Stacks.
"Lads, you miserable lot,"
he said.
"We're not doing enough business, so get out there and find some. I don't care how you find it, just find it."
Zoran scowled angrily.
"Oh, it's those rotten star stacks that have a problem, Captain Zero,"
he said.
"Bunch of creeps, the lot of them."
He then muttered to himself. That was when he had a great idea. An evil grin spread across his face, and he looked around for someone to help him with his plan. The someone turned out to be Zug.
"Come here, Zug."
Zoran shouted.
"Yes, Zoran? What is it? Have you got a job for me?"
said Zug, steaming up behind Zoran.
"On weak feather this morning."
Snarked Zoran.
"Listen carefully and do exactly what I tell you."
Later that day, Zug found Big Mac at the coal yard. He was very scared of the big tug and tried to sound as calm as he could as he said,
Hold on, Big Mac. Hold, pal. Captain Star says you're to go to the disused quayside and collect a coal barge urgently."
Big Mac frowned and Zug gulped nervously. Big Mac wasn't convinced. Last year, Zip and Zug had put him out of action by pushing him onto a sandbank, and after that incident, he was wise to any tricks the Z-Stacks had up their sleeves. He said,
"I'll tell Captain Star on my way to check."
But on his way, he bumped into Hercules. They got talking, and somehow the meet-up with me was forgotten.
"Oi, Sunshine!"
yelled Zoran later.
"Big Mac needs some help at the disused quayside. I can't think why he'd choose you, though." "Oh, right, but I better report back to Captain Star first of all,"
said Sunshine.
"Well, if you can't be bothered, I'll send one of the other Z-Stacks down there."
Jeered Zoran. Zoran and Zug sniggered together.
With Big Mac and Sunshine busy at the disused quayside, the rest of the Star mob can't steal our work. Captain Zero will make the money instead,"
said Zoran.
"Who's next?"
asked Zug.
"Should I tell Warrior he's needed at the docks too?" "Warrior? That clumsy oaf?"
hissed Zoran.
"No, we can leave him to mess things up for the Stars on his own."
Zoran knew that Warrior often tried to help out around Big City Port, particularly in the springtime. But as usual, things had a habit of going wrong for the big harbour tug. Much later, Sunshine and Big Mac came into the Star Dock looking very angry. I hadn't seen them like this before, so I was quite taken aback.
"Oh, sorry, Captain. We were tricked. When I find that Zoran, I'll...
I've told you before, you two. Ignore what the Z-Stacks say. I'm your captain, so I give you the orders."
Sunshine hated letting me down.
"Yes, sir,"
he replied.
"Never mind, Sunshine,"
I said.
"Remember though, Lily Lightship needs an urgent oil delivery first thing tomorrow. She's very low, but she's got enough for tonight, and she'll need it with this storm coming up. It could be a big one."
That night, out in the bays beside Big City Port, my fears proved to be founded, for Lily was in big trouble. The stormy seas tossed her from side to side, causing her last drop of oil to fall over and slither away into the sea. What little oil was left in her light burned away. Then there was darkness.
Oh, how terrible,
said Lily.
What shall I do now?
As the long night went on, the weather got worse. A huge freightliner which was making its way up Dem Der Rocks looked for Lily's light to guide her past the rocks. Desperately, Lily sounded her foghorn in warning, but the strong winds carried away the sound. The freighter slid onto the rocks with a horrible crunch and keeled over to one side, completely stuck. A little later, Zug couldn't sleep. No matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't. He was too busy thinking about what Warrior would do to the rest of my tugs the next day. The storm didn't help matters much either. And then he saw it. The red light of distress signals in the sky.
I'd better go and see what's wrong.
Bravely venturing out into the storm towards the bay, Zug found the stranded freightliner and sped back to the Zero dock for help.
Zoran, listen!
He spluttered.
There's a freightliner in the estuary, stuck on the rocks, and Lily Lightship's light's gone out. Oh yeah? And I suppose the sea's turned pink.
Snarled Zoran.
You can't fool me with that game, you idiot. I thought of it, remember? No, it's the truth, really.
Pleaded poor Zug.
Scram! I haven't got time for your stupid jokes.
Zoran turned and went off in the opposite direction, trying to get a good night's sleep as far away from Zug as possible. Zug didn't know what to do, but that was when he spotted Warrior. He may have been clumsy, but he was also very strong and helpful in times of need.
Warrior,
began Zug.
What is it, Zug?
Even Warrior had heard about what happened to Big Mac and Sunshine, so he had no time for what the Z-Stacks had to say.
Look, you won't believe this.
Yeah, probably not,
snapped Warrior.
Please, Warrior, this isn't a trick, August. There's a freightliner out there trapped on the rocks. I can't manage it, but I thought we could bring her in together. What do you say, Warrior, old buddy?
Warrior still looked suspicious.
Look, I know we played that dumb trick. It was all Zoran's idea. But now even he won't believe me. Please help to rescue the freightliner. It'll be our salvage.
Alright, Zug, I'll do it. But if this is another trick, you'll be sorry.
Warrior and Zug set off together to find the freightliner. She wasn't too badly damaged, but spending a night buffeting about on the treacherous Dem Der Rocks would completely destroy her.
This is going to be tough,
said Warrior. He revved his engine up to full power and pushed with all his strength to get the freightliner off the rocks. Zug helped to steady her as she listed into the water.
Hold on, Zug, while I connect a line,
gasped Warrior. Slowly but surely, Warrior and Zug brought the freightliner into port, where she could dock before being taken to Lucky's yard in the morning. The Star Tugs had heard all the commotion, so they gathered around the Star Dock to congratulate them.
Well done, Warrior. You saved the day.
Everyone was full of praise for Warrior, myself included. Warrior beamed.
Young Zug here did his bit too,
he said, blushing modestly. Hearing Zug's name, Zoran pushed in.
What do you think you're doing helping the stars out? But Zoran, I tried to tell you about the freightliner. Uh-oh! Look out, Zoran! Behind you!
Squealed Zug.
If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times. No more tricks, you miserable little squirt. When Captain Zero hears about this, he'll... Ah!
Warrior had gotten too excited, and as he sped round the Star Dock, an enormous wave splashed all over Zoran. His wheelhouse was completely waterlogged.
Oh, sorry,
grinned Warrior. And even Zug couldn't help joining in as they all laughed at Zoran. But it just goes to show that if you lie about something to someone multiple times, you shouldn't expect them to believe you when you're telling the truth. Zug was lucky this time. Just think what might have happened to the Freightliner if Warrior hadn't believed him.